this is Vicki Gervicus at the Greater Gainesville Chamber, and I'm delighted to welcome Anna Prizzia today for a candidate interview. She is our incumbent for the Board of County Commission, District 3. Let me get this right, Anna, District 3? Yes, can you hear me?
I'm having internet issues.
Oh, okay.
I
Well, that's
can't. I'm
probably
having
not
internet
that's
issues
probably
and
not
it's
too
coming
surprising
in and
given
out.
yeah, given what's going on out in the ozone, I guess that's probably not too surprising. Can you hear me a little better now? Okay,
Yes.
terrific. All right. Well, so Anna is our incumbent candidate for District 3, right? Board of County Commission. And we're going to spend a couple minutes with her today and ask her some questions and rush on over to November 5th. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's jump in with the first question. What particular skills and experiences do you bring to this office?
Sure. Well, I have a background in natural resources conservation and sustainability. Most of my career, I've worked in that realm. I worked as the director for sustainability for the University of Florida for a number of years. And then I moved into a more focused role that was really about working with our local farmers and working with our institutions to make connections for food, local food, and local economic development by helping our farmers find ways to serve their food in our school lunch program. And then I moved over to IFAS, where I run a sustainable agricultural teaching program with a farm at the center of campus and focus on issues of food security and sustainable agriculture there. So pretty much my whole career has been in those realms. My degree is in natural resources conservation, and I did do Peace Corps prior to all of that. So kind of a long history working in the environmental realm. But also, I think for most of my career, a big focus for me has been practical solutions, the ways in which we can actually connect the dots between the values that we have around sustainability and how we can make those economically viable and how we can make those something that will enhance our communities rather than just being a burden for people to have to add something else to do in their lives, if you will.
Mhm. Okay. Now this question, since you are the incumbent, it's what are your priorities and projects if you're reelected going forward?
Okay. Some of the work that I've done since I've been in office is around that issue of food systems and economic development. And I recently, actually, just last meeting, we passed a program that I initiated called the Agricultural Easements Program. And the idea of that is to help our farmers be able to keep their farmland viable and stay in and support that rural economic development. And over 50% of our economy is ag related. You know, they're the next largest economy after the healthcare sectors and the university education sectors. And so we really need to make sure that they have the supports that they need, but the pressure from development is high. And so the Agricultural Easements Program provides an opportunity to utilize some of our conservation funding to purchase easements, development easements from those farmers. So we essentially purchase their development rights. They get that funds, and then they're still able to keep their farm in farms, keep their farm privately owned and on the tax rolls, and continue to farm and support their way of life and protect our rural areas. That just passed recently, so I'm very excited about that initiative. I've also focused a lot on building up the infrastructure and the tools that we need to be able to have our local farmers sell to our local institutions. So we're in the process right now of a feasibility and business planning process in partnership with some consultants to look at something called a food hub, which would essentially provide our small local farmers a space to aggregate and process and distribute their food so that they could compete in the markets with some of our multinational corporations to be able to provide to our school districts, to our universities, to our hospitals, to our jails, and even to our restaurants, because right now it's really hard for them to meet those accounts because obviously UF doesn't want to buy from 50 small farmers. They want to buy from one person. And a lot of the large scale distributors don't want to deal in the small quantities that they have. So this would be kind of a niche, small scale processing center that would allow those farmers to market. I've also worked a lot of around sort of growth management and trying to consider our comprehensive plan and how we can support the development and wise growth in our community while also protecting our values of conservation. You know, a lot of the conversations I'm having with developers and builders out there is that our building codes are so stringent and difficult that it's hard for them to do everything that we want them to do to make sure that our communities are safe with stormwater and to protect trees and natural spaces so that people have beauty and also have clean air and all the things that our natural resources bring, while also being able to maximize their density and be able to add all the amenities that families and people who are moving into those spaces want, and to make it economically viable. And so I've been having a lot of conversations about how we can balance those things, how we can maybe shift some of the ways in which we're making those decisions, and still have a good balance of all of those values. For example, we want to protect a lot of our trees, but right now, because of the way our tree ordinance is written, it's either you protect it all the way and you have no bend, or you take it out and you just pay, right? And so, of course, for the developers, it's so much easier, just take it out and pay, because they don't want to risk having those impacts and then having the repercussions of that. But if we could work with them on a unique plan for each development that really looked at the trees on the ground and said, what can you protect? What might have some impacts? What does that look like? And come up with a cohesive plan for the development. I think we could actually protect a lot more trees and get a win-win for.
Oh, we got a little, yeah, we got a little freeze there.
Sorry about
There
that.
we go. No problem.
Not sure what
Yeah, I think it's,
happened.
again, I think with everything going on, probably everybody in the universe is on the internet right now. So,
Yeah.
all right. So your last,
Anyway, just
the last thing we got was, it would be a win-win for the developers and for, conservation goals.
for the natural resources and
Yeah.
conservation goals. Yes, exactly, exactly. So those are some of the things that I've been working on. Of course, I've also been, we've been focused on roads. You know, when I got in, we had a backlog, 30-year backlog of road maintenance. Unfortunately, you know, the state gave us an unfunded mandate with a bunch of roads many, many years ago. And unlike the small counties, we don't qualify for the funds that the state gives to really keep those roads up. And so we've been really struggling. How do we do that when so much of our land is off the tax rolls and we have so many other priorities in the county? But that we are commissioned, both Mary and I, when we came on, really realized like we can't, that's an asset, right? Those roads are our assets, and we have a responsibility to the community to protect them and to take care of them. And so we've really shifted, I think, the mindset on the commission, and we've over doubled the amount of general fund tax dollars that are going to roads. And we were able, thanks to the voters, to pass the 1 cent infrastructure surtax, and we've dedicated 70% of the half penny for infrastructure to our road maintenance program. So we now have over $24 million a year for road maintenance and safety upgrades, which I'm really proud of. And I have made sure that a portion of that, in addition to road maintenance, is also going to crosswalks, sidewalks, and safety improvements, particularly around our schools and in areas where we want to make sure pedestrians can easily access amenities like parks.
Very good. All right. You touched on this a little bit, I think, in the last question, but this will give you a chance, I think, to drill down even a little bit more. What policies could the BOCC adopt to help spur job growth and diversity in our county?
Well, I think one of the things that we've done that we need to focus on more is our eco loop. So we created a space that's sort of an industrial park, a space where we can attract companies here that, again, meet our values of sustainability. The idea is companies that recycle, reuse, repurpose materials to manufacture. But unfortunately, we sort of stopped for the most part at the building part of it. I think we tried a few ways to sort of tell businesses we were there, but I really think that we need to focus our energy on that space. We need to work with folks whose job it is to go out and recruit businesses who understand this sector and can really look at the types of companies that will bring high quality, high paying jobs that don't require degrees, so that we can really begin to build the kind of opportunities for the workforce we have here in Alachua County. And we can also collaborate with the University of Florida and Santa Fe to develop those training programs that will build the workforce that's necessary for those jobs. And I think we've got a great example of that in the work we've done for the military concentration site that's coming to our old fairgrounds. That's in construction now, and when it's completed, it will be bringing, hundreds and hundreds of jobs to the east side that do not require a degree and are high-paying jobs. I think the average job is a $50,000 to $60,000 a year job there, with some jobs paying much more than that, and most of which do not require a degree. And we've collaborated with Santa Fe to develop a heavy diesel mechanic training program so that people who are interested in those jobs can go and get trained right here locally to be able to do those jobs. So I think those are the kinds of things that I want to see us doing more of. And in fact, this year, for the first time, we just created an economic development department.
Mhm.
We want to do to recruit good quality businesses to our community. A big piece of my goals around economic development are also lifting up our small local businesses. I'm a small local business gal. I started a nonprofit that actually helped to incubate small local food-based businesses, providing them affordable kitchen space so that they could develop their products and they could try out their business models, and they could have a commissary for their food trucks. And that nonprofit, I'm no longer there, but that nonprofit now has over 40 businesses incubating in it. And it really was an opportunity, and I think to learn a lot about our economy, a lot about business development and entrepreneurship and the way it works. And for me, a big piece of this isn't just attracting the big businesses here that we need for manufacturing jobs, but also how do we lift up our small local businesses? How do we make commercial spaces affordable for them, maybe with some subsidies early on to help them get into those spaces and get stable in that first 5 years that are so critical to a business where you're not quite making a profit. How do we provide capacity building support for our small businesses so that they can continue to thrive?
Very good. All right. Well, despite all of our county's many positives, we are still plagued by inequality in incomes, housing, and educational attainment in particular. What ideas do you bring to the table?
Yeah. One of the things, let's see, I guess I'll start with housing. You talked about housing, education, and
Incomes.
there was a third.
Incomes.
Income. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've touched a little bit
Yeah.
on the income
Yeah.
piece before. I think that collaboration with industry and collaboration with bringing in and lifting up the businesses that provide those good paying jobs is the most important thing we can do for incomes. Like the best path to income is a good job. And the education piece a little bit with those partnerships with Santa Fe College, with the University of Florida, with our K-12 system as well. And I think that, we don't have control over our education system, but we do meet regularly with our school board colleagues. And one of the things that I've pushed and we're now undertaking in collaboration with the Children's Trust is a comprehensive literacy assessment for Alachua County. So it was an initiative I put forward at one of those joint school board meetings and joint Children's Trust meetings. And because we see that over 80% of some of our children, particularly African-American children, and children from lower income households can't read on grade level by third grade. We need to remedy that. There's no excuse for that. And so I've asked that we do a comprehensive literacy assessment to look across our entire community at what we are doing, the tools we're using, what's working, what's not working, so that we can develop a comprehensive set of strategies to address this issue and fix it once and for all. And that study is a partnership with the University of Florida Lassinger Center that's happening right now. And hopefully in 2025, we'll have those results and we'll be able to begin developing strategies in collaboration with the community and with the school board.
Good.
So that's one of the ways I'm trying to address education inequities. Another way is to really think about investment in youth programming. We don't tend to do a lot of that, but we have begun to do some of that. For example, at our Cuskawilla property in South Alachua County, we are now providing a summer camp for youth, and we do a lot of educational programming during that summer camp, and we're making it available to all students by having scholarships in collaboration with the Children's Trust. So making that camp freely available to residents across our county. And then housing. Housing is a big passion of mine. It's something that I've worked on since I got on the dais. Again, I was the one who pushed to have the part of our infrastructure surtax go to housing. And we have dedicated the other 30% of that half penny that's not in roads to workforce housing. And we just launched the RFA, a request for proposals, essentially, that's out in the community. It's a rolling application that anyone can do for private developers and builders who are interested in building workforce housing to access that funding. It's about $56 million over the 10-year portion of the sales, 8-year portion of the sales tax now. And the hope is that we can use that money to help offset the cost of development so that we can make that workforce housing really affordable and available across our community. In addition, we know unhoused people is a real challenge to economic development. All of the challenge your life on the street brings trash, it brings all of the things, and that could be a real challenge for local businesses. And so we actually are working on permanent supportive housing, and this coming year, we'll bring 96 units of permanent supportive housing online that will help get those individuals who are chronically homeless off the streets and provide them an apartment and wraparound services that will give them mental health supports, substance abuse supports, and hopefully eventually help finding jobs and rebuilding their lives. And what we found is that many times people in that permanent supportive housing aren't permanent, but it usually takes 4 or 5 years of having that consistent support and that constant guidance and help before they're really ready to launch into doing things on their own.
Okay, very good. All right, well, as our incumbent, this question is, you certainly know what you got yourself into. Why are you running for the office again?
Yeah, I love my job. I really do. I love being a commissioner. I never thought that politics was a career path that I was going to pursue, but I have really enjoyed being in office. And I think that what I bring to the table is an experience of a lot of facilitation of complex projects and programs. Sustainability is always about that big picture, right? Economic development, social support and justice and environmental protection. And when you have to think about all those things, you have to bring all the players to the table to find common ground. And I think in this day and age where we're seeing so much divisiveness, something that I've been able to do and that I continue to try to do is to make sure that all the voices are heard and that we're really coming together to find common ground to solve this community's complex problems. I think I've done a good job of reaching out to our smaller municipalities and our rural areas to hear their issues and try to bring forward ideas and to bring forward policies that will help to support them. And, that's what I love most about my job, getting to talk to people, getting to listen to the issues and getting to problem solve together in collaboration with the community.
Terrific. Okay, well, in our last couple of minutes, I'm going to throw the floor back to you. If there's anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to bring out, or if you want to just bring us on home, the floor is now yours.
I don't know that there's anything other about my policies that I want to bring forward. I will say that one thing that we have done is the living wage efforts. We've really pushed forward with the county to be able to pay our staff a living wage. We've continued to try to bring wages up. And we have upgraded wages for both our deputies, like base wages for our deputies and our fire rescue, and included parental leave now for our employees, which I think is really, really important. So we're focused internally as well as externally. Like, we're not just asking the local businesses to do these things, but doing it ourselves and really trying to think about the ways we can be good employers. And the last thing I'll say is that, I have been endorsed by the teachers and the labor union. I was endorsed by Fire Rescue locally. I was endorsed by the Sierra Club. I was endorsed by Vote Pro Choice. I was endorsed by Ruth's List. And And I'm really proud of the fact that across our community, from fire rescue to the Sierra Club, I have the commitment and the support of the people in this community that I've done a good job, and I look forward to doing a good job for the next 4 years. So you can find more information about all the work I've done and my accomplishments on my website. It's annaforalachua.com. And I look forward to your vote in November. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anna. It was great spending time with you this morning. And I'll throw in from the Greater Gainesville Chamber, we are very committed in ensuring everyone exercises their rights and their right to vote this coming November, which is right around the corner, November 5th. Get out, make your voice heard. Thanks again so much, Anna. It was good talking to you, and good luck on
Thank you, and thanks to the chamber for doing this.
Thank
All
you.
right.